Hi, and welcome to the Reiki from the Farm podcast, brought to you by me, Pam Allen-LeBlanc from Hidden Brook Farm. I am a scientist, a businesswoman, and a licensed Reiki master teacher with the International Center for Reiki Training. Each week in this podcast, you'll be entertained as you learn about a wide variety of relevant Reiki topics, helping you become a more knowledgeable and effective Reiki practitioner. We caution you, though, this podcast may also dramatically improve your life, and we are so happy that you're here. On this week's podcast, I am speaking with Walter Lübeck about artificial intelligence and what it feels like to work with this intelligently and consciously. Walter, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Can you introduce yourself to our guests?
Thank you for having me, Pam. That's a wonderful event here, and I'm very happy to be able to pass on my thoughts about the topic to people in your area and around the world, I think. Who am I? I'm really wondering. I did a lot of psychoanalytical sessions, and my psychoanalyst said you should really make your mind up who you are. And so, yeah. And I don't know, I can't tell you what I did so far. I entered the Reiki community in 87 with a first degree in April. And before that, I had no experience in classes. Frankly, I did not know that there were any spiritual classes around. And I just got there because my naturopathic doctor told me to go there. He organized the class and he said, I will not tell you what that is. So I had
Oh,
no idea, absolutely no idea what I had to expect for that weekend. And at that time, there were, I think, one or two books around about Reiki, but you only got them in the classes. So no bookstore would touch that. No, that was 87. Come on, that was very woo. And
okay.
there was a room, a very small room, and we were about, I don't know, 25, 30 people. It was cramped, really like sardines. And there were interesting people, like someone who just recently, last weekend, found out that, in fact, he is a bear. And his wife found out she's a penguin. And
Oh,
otherwise, they were quite okay. And everybody hugged each other all the time. I thought, what the heck is going on here? What are they doing? And then on Monday, I had my hands on the wheel of the car, the steering wheel, and I felt heat and tingling all the way up to my shoulders. And I thought, what is that? And then I started to realize that there was something really happening during this class. I thought otherwise it was expensive in a way, and but people were okay so far and it was exotic. But I did not consider this being such a big event for my whole life. And then some month later, I had an experience with my that time girlfriend. She had in belly an inflammation and she needed to go to surgery. And we got a distant healing modality from our Reiki master. And she slept then 10 hours or so, and then everything was gone. And the doctor said, if I wouldn't have seen you yesterday, I would have thought that you're just pretending because there is no inflammation anymore. So no surgery. So I thought I had to go for second degree. And after second degree, I was so amazed that I thought I need to be able to teach this.
yes.
That's the best thing ever happened to me. I need to be able to teach this. So I was going for roughly 1.5 years of mastership training. At that time, you had about, was it four, was it six, something like that, Reiki masters all over the German language area, meaning Germany, Switzerland, Austria, five or six masters.
Wow.
And we had one esoteric magazine which you got at a train station when you were lucky. One of the three magazines they had there. It wasn't such a big community like we have today. You needed to know someone who knows someone to get to know that there was a class. So I did this training, and I was at that time one of three owners of a plastics company. We did plastic products for oil and mining and gas fields and so on.
Okay.
So it was a completely different kind of job. It was a good job. I had customer relationships and product development, and I was a lot on the road and during the week. And then on the weekends, I was on the road to go to the classes in Switzerland or Austria or wherever. And I've got this training, and then I started to give my own classes in 1989 in autumn. And in between, I was producing a spiritual magazine for Northern Germany because I
Okay.
thought people need to know about classes and books and so on. So I knew a lot of people, and my classes were full. And when I entered second degree, I started also to give an advanced training class for Reiki because there were so many things which you could do with Reiki, which I found out, and nobody knew about that. I started to teach people about that before I was a trained teacher myself. And then in spring of 1990, I thought that might be something which is good for a book. So I phoned one publishing company in Switzerland, and they told me, no, Reiki is not our thing, but just go to Winford publishing house in southern part of Germany, in Bavaria. They do Reiki. They did one of the two Reiki books.
Okay.
And I was sending them the printout. At that time, we were doing printouts. I had an Atari computer with a high resolution screen, 640 by 400 points, and mono colored and so on, and a double-sided floppy disk. I don't know whether anybody is out there who knows what a floppy disk
I
is.
know what a floppy disk is.
Okay, you had grandparents who did these
No.
kind of things. And I sent these things to the publishing house, and I thought they will give me a friendly note that some years later I could come back and so on. They said, this reads like a class manual, which it was, and in about 6 weeks we need to have the complete text. So please write this so it's a book, and then we can publish it to the Frankfurt Book Fair. They said, what?
Wow. Wow.
And I thought, gosh, what should I do? I never have written a book. I had no idea what to do. And I could ask no one. So I did my very best. And there was an illustrator who was giving me some of his paintings for the titles of my magazine.
Yes.
And so he did the illustrations for my first book. And then there was a problem because my publisher said, Reiki, the topic, we know that it's worth publishing it. Still, the booksellers, they don't want to touch these books. We just sell the books via the people who give classes about Reiki because the booksellers thinks it's dubious, it's shady, it's maybe some buhai, some criminal stuff going on, some sects or whatever. Could you do something to make them understand that this is true, this is a fact, that it's not some belief thing? And then I combined some things I've learned from Philippine spiritual healers with Reiki and chakra knowledge, and did the systematic chakra work, which I teach till today. So I did the muscle testing and showed them that when they thought about something they did not tell me about, some of their chakras got weak. And then I was strengthening them with aura work,
Yeah.
and they got stronger, and they were thinking a different way about these things and the person, which made them weak before. And nearly everybody of these booksellers then was buying the books about Reiki and was selling them at the bookstores. So this was a moment where in German bookstores, Reiki got a topic. And during the next years, I wrote a lot of books. During the 1990s, I wrote 9 books about Reiki. And until today, 25 books so far, translated in 20 languages,
Wow.
including English. Lotus Light Shangri-La publishes my books in your area.
Yes.
And these books got me invited in the year 2000 to the International Reiki Convention, which was organized by William Lee Rand. And I got books from Amazon in English language about esoteric. I read them, and that was good because my school English wasn't not really good for this kind of topic. We did not cover these kind of topics so far
Of
in
course.
my school. We did not.
Um,
And then I was giving classes there and giving speeches there and so on. It was an interesting time, and I liked the way William was organizing the International Reiki conventions. And later on, first we were in Michigan, and then we were in the state of New York. It was very interesting. It was a high school trip abroad and esoteric fair, and you got to know lots of interesting people. And we had dance nights and drumming, live drumming and everything. It was fun. I loved it. I loved it, absolutely. And because of these international Reiki conventions, I was invited then to lots of countries like Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, India, and Scandinavia, and so on, and did classes over there. And the people liked Rainbow Reiki, which is until now still in development. So I did not use the term Rainbow Reiki for my school until 1995, when I brought out the book Rainbow Reiki, which many people think is it. No, it's not. It was the beginning 30 years ago. Today we do much more
Right.
than at that time. The first decade in the 1990s, it was what could you do with the regular Uzui initiations and symbols besides what you usually get in first and second degree classes? And this was coming to a kind of conclusion when I wrote together with Ajava Frank Pette the book Reiki Best Practices. So we put lots of techniques into that book, which we both liked and which you can do with regular Uzui initiations and symbols.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000s, I was starting to integrate symbols and mantras from my memories of past lives, mainly in Lemuria, about 12,000 years ago. And with these symbols, there were other techniques possible. Hip alignment, straightening hips, standard hips. We do this in about 30 seconds and it lasts. And we
Oh,
do allergy deletion and we do harmonizing of the atlas vertebra without any touch. And then I got to know someone in the States, and he was at Williams Reiki conventions. Name is Duff Cady. He passed away about 12 years ago or so, 13 years ago. And he always was standing somewhere with a hand on the back of the neck of someone. And after a while, this other guy said, "Amazing, I can't believe it. What's that?" And I thought, what is he doing? Because he always was having a hand at another person's back of the neck and was doing this, and the people were excited after a while. I thought I need to go there. I asked this guy and I asked him, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, it's hard to explain. I think I just give you a try." And he had his hand on my back of the neck. And after some minutes, I said, "Amazing, what are you doing?" Because he developed a technique with Reiki to realign the spine, the vertebra, without any mechanical impact. And he said, believe it or not, nobody here wants to learn it. I said, what? I invited him to Germany. So he taught for about 3 years. He taught really full classes here. Then he couldn't come back because he died. The first time he wanted to give a class in the United States, he was walking out of the plane and he died.
oh no.
Yeah, Duff was really a character, great guy. I loved him. And he had a very colorful life. And during the last years of his life, he was, besides being a Reiki master, a massage therapist and an NLP practitioner and a hypnotist master and so on and so forth. He did Huna. And he came to this method by just finding out that his clients always had these tensions
Yes.
while they did not do much work. They were doing some desk work. And he thought, he learned in massage school that people got the tensions from physical work, but they didn't do any physical work. So he developed a technique to release this tension ongoing. And I combined this with the rain breaking method. So what he was doing then required, let's say, 90 minutes, 2 hours. Today we do it in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And we do it also over the distance.
Yes.
So I do aligning of spines regularly every week for people in several continents.
I think I have to ask you to stay a little longer after class so I can
Yeah, no
experience
problem. We
after
can do
we're
that.
done so I can experience that, Walter.
We can do that. And then I got very ill in
Oh,
2007.
okay.
And before I was 20 years, I did not see any doctor because I hadn't anything. And then I had lots of stuff, anything. And I was going to naturopathic doctors, to medical doctors, to spiritual healers, to shamans, and so on. Nobody was finding anything. So until today, I have a lot of stuff, a lot of symptoms, and I have no idea what exactly I have.
Wow.
At that time, I thought, because I had very high blood pressure at that time, I thought, did you do anything so seriously wrong? And when there was the first time where my naturopathic doctor found out about my high blood pressure, he thought, okay, I give you do a bloodletting. And he couldn't do that because the blood was getting clogged within the syringe. So he
Wow.
couldn't do that. And then I picked one of my chakra energy cards. I just got a new set of them. They just got released anew. This is now
Beautiful.
32 years on the market.
Wow, Walter.
And the card said, your professional life unfolds according to your life plan. The thought,
Your professional life.
my professional life, my professional path
Yeah.
unfolds according to my life plan.
Okay.
So I thought, did I do so much wrong? Should I have stayed in the plastics industry or something? Later, years later, I understood that message because the 2010s were the most creative phase in my life. I was expanding everything I taught. And besides Rainbow Reiki, I teach Lemurian Tantra, White Feather Shamanism, Free Race Meditation, and some hypnosis. I enriched all these methods extremely. So what we can do today was not to be seen in any way in the 2000s. During this time, during the 2000s, I also wrote some books. And there's one book which I really recommend. It's a big book of Reiki symbols. You also get it as an ebook.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research about the Usui symbols because I thought Usui had only 4 years to teach. This is not much. I
No.
taught so far, I don't know exactly, about 600 Reiki masters, and most of them I still have contact with today. And I know what you can do in 4 years and what you cannot do in 4 years. And I still think that Usui would have done so much more if he would have lived longer.
Yeah.
And we have this handbook of Usui and the handbook of Ayashi, which is, for example, it was published as extra books, but it's also in The Spirit of Reiki in the book which I co-authored together with Franca Javapeta and William Lee Rand. And there are a lot of things like Uzui was combining energy work with massage. He was working with the chakras. He was doing a lot of qigong with a Chinese word. I don't know what this is in Japanese. And I think that he was a very intelligent and educated person. Today we know a lot more. For example, during the years, people like Franco Javapeta, but also Justin Stein and others did a lot of research. So today we know much more about Uzui than back in the days when I was studying first degree and second degree in the end of the 80s. At that time, it was more like a Christmas tale. So with Uzui as a monk sitting in the front of his students and thinking, yes, Jesus did all these healings and I should do the same. And these kind of things. Today we know he never was a Christian.
Right.
But anyway, it doesn't matter because Reiki is no religion. At least in my understanding, it's not.
No.
And what I found out is that each of these symbols is like a library of spiritual wisdom. And there is a reason, a very good reason, that Uzui was giving, I wouldn't say the order, I would say the suggestion, that his students wrote on his memorial stone close to his grave about Gasho meditation and the five principles, and not about put your hands here or put your hands there or do this breathing exercise and so on. No, he said the healing method for all the ailments is that you sit in the morning and in the evening, do Gasho meditation, recite the life principles. So today I know why. At the moment, I'm writing a monography about the Reiki energy and the Reiki symbol. And I found out that there is a history before Reiki was brought to the world by Uzui. And this is not mainly Japanese. I know the Japanese don't like to hear that, but most of what they got from Korea and they got from China. And because Korea got most of what they got from China, so mostly it came from China. So I was studying a lot about China and found a lot of evidence for the things Usui did in ancient traditions of China, and this is what I'm writing about at the moment. So until Corona times came, I had a center in Hamelin for about 20 years, and otherwise I was traveling 15 countries and teaching what I had to give to people. And in 2019, when I was planning the next year, I thought this time I will be really intelligent with my plannings.
Yeah,
And so I bought all the flight tickets to United States, to Brazil, to Mongolia, to Spain, and so on and so forth, because I was booked all over these places.
sure.
Yeah, then Corona came.
I was teaching in the United Kingdom when the
You know what I'm
coronavirus
talking
came.
about.
I do. I was in Heathrow Airport as
It was really funny. And then I was phoning the health department in the city of Hamelin, where I had my center. They asked them, what are the hygiene rules from my center? They said, we have no idea about that. You need to phone to the Ministry of Health in Hanover. I said, okay. I phoned there and they said, why do you call us? You need to phone the health department in your city. I said, these people directed me to telephone
you.
you. Yeah. And they said, we have no idea. So I closed my center because nobody could tell me what to do.
Wow. Wow. And Walter, this is fascinating. And William has talked about the fact that Yusui really had studied a lot in China as well. So I'm very much looking forward to your book. And you've done so much. My gosh, the coronavirus is the reason my book came into
Oh,
being,
really?
the Reiki business book.
Then
Yeah.
you found the time to write that book. Hey, great. Making the best out of the times qualities.
Exactly, exactly. And now
Wonderful.
I'll try to write. I'm planning to write a second book in the near future. I'm writing currently about my animal communication
Oh,
for Reiki
wonderful.
practitioners' work.
Oh,
And
great.
then I will write a Market Your Reiki Business book just to use my MBA for helping
Wonderful.
people get more Reiki out there because I got a
That's
very
so much needed.
it is, and I just got a very clear message during in the Heathrow airport as everybody was panicking and I wasn't, and I got a very clear message that every family needs a Reiki practitioner in it for times like
Exactly.
these, and that I was to teach the teachers. So that's where that all came
Wonderful.
from.
Wonderful. That's so
Yeah.
much needed what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I do hear from a lot of people because the Reiki business book isn't just how to make a website, how to do it's going in and working with Reiki to design the
Mm.
exact right business for you and to call the exact right customers. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's using the divinity together with the business
The inner
principles,
work.
the inner work for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a
Very good.
tremendous story you have, Walter. I'm just sitting here fascinated, and I have to admit, I did not know a lot of that. I've been following you for a while, and it's incredible. I love it. Before we go too much further, I just want to let people know what I have going on
Please
here
do.
for classes, and I'd love to hear what you have as well. In January, I have our what we call our RMA classes, which is Reiki level 1 and 2, followed by Reiki Master. And that's particularly helpful for people who want to upgrade to professional membership of the ICRT Reiki Membership Association. I've got ICRT Animal Reiki level 1 and 2 and Master. And a lot of people find that they love coming to one of the authors of the course to learn that from, which is great. And then I'll be moving into animal communication 1 and 2 and level 3 professional practitioner. And that's animal communication for Reiki practitioners. And our new healthcare Reiki course is available also
Wonderful.
in February.
Mhm.
And then also in February, we still have a few spots left for folks who want to join us in Africa. I'll be taking level one
Mm,
and two and animal Reiki level one and two over to
mm.
Kenya. So I'm super excited about that. And
Great.
and just stay tuned because we I will be heading to Hong Kong in next September, in March. There will be two Reiki mentoring courses, starting one with the Reiki business book for people who are just
Mm.
starting out, and one with the beginnings of the next book for people who already have a business but want to learn to market it. So that's what we
Wonderful.
have going on over here in Canada and
Great.
the
Great. I
United
love it.
States, Walter. Thank you. What do you have going on and how can people reach you? And I will be putting all of your information in the podcast notes.
Thank you. That's very kind, Pam. I just teach these days mostly via internet, so via Zoom, like we meet here. I get, got accustomed to it when there was Corona times, and I stick with it because
Yes.
before I was having about 70 to 80,000 kilometers per year on the road. I was traveling here and there, and it was quite normal for me to give a class during the day and then another class 200 kilometers away at another place in the evening, and so on. And I'm very happy that I don't do this anymore. So I teach via webinars.
And
And
I resisted those at first, Walter, and I love them
really,
now. I did.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't love technology. I know that we're here on technology now, and I've got hundreds of podcast episodes out,
mm,
and the podcast is very popular. I love it, but
great.
I didn't like technology at first. I
Oh,
really resisted it. But the online classes are every bit as powerful as in person,
sure
sometimes
they
even
are.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And students got to know each other and made friends all over the planet.
Yes.
And this is amazing. I really love that people now they have friends in New York, people from Germany or in Spain or in Brazil. And that's really something I appreciate because we all need these friends. We need people who are on the same wavelength.
Yes, I agree.
Mm.
And it's beautiful that we have this
Oh
web
yeah.
all over the planet.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, Walter, I wanted to step into talking a little bit about technology and even artificial intelligence. And I remember with social media, anything new, there's always going to be some resistance to it. And I can remember William telling me that, and also telling me that Reiki is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to evolve, I guess is the word that he used. And I've become aware of that in my own practice. And clearly, having practiced since the 1980s and all the evolution that you've described, you even talk about, I wonder if Yusui had longer, if he'd had more than 4 years, would there have been more evolution? Because we know even in Yusui's time, Reiki evolved.
Of course it did.
It was an
Yeah.
evolution. That's what it was. And so I think evolution is part of it. I know that I'm certainly not the Reiki practitioner that I started teaching 15 years ago, and
Mm.
I'm not the practitioner that started teaching then. You evolve, and as you learn more, you
Mm.
do more. And so
Yeah.
I can remember people resisting social media. And my mentor, Colleen Benelli, said, she believed that it was important for people like us to get involved with social media so that it fed it with these high frequency positive energies. So I know when AI came along, I thought the same thing, and Colleen and I thought the same thing. I think that this is simply a tool, and just like a match that can cook your food or burn your house down, it's how you use it that it makes sense. And so I've actually really embraced AI this time around, which is incredible for somebody who couldn't stand technology and was terrified to teach online classes. And I really was. I've made a huge leap into embracing AI. And I know there's still a lot of people out there who are nervous about AI, who are nervous about, does it collect my information and stuff like that. Honestly, It all collects my information. I mentioned something and I cannot believe the ads, Alexa, everything collects your information. And I just feel like I'm living a life that's so boring that if people want to collect my information, they're going to be really bored looking through it. I have absolutely nothing to hide. And so I don't actually worry about that aspect of it because I know that every piece of technology is doing that. And I can't imagine anybody being interested in my information. But so I just made a decision to work with AI consciously, like really consciously. And I'll talk about what that means to me. But first, I'm wondering, what does that mean to you? You wrote in your newsletter that, and I could tell you had a lot of thought behind it. And you wrote that you had been giving it a lot of consideration and you knew that a lot of people were nervous, but you had decided to embrace or adopt AI. What does that mean to you? And how did you come to that decision?
I did several podcasts in German language about AI, and I think, first of all, we need to differentiate because AI is not AI. Most people are not familiar with the fact that about 15 years ago or so, give one, take one, I don't know exactly, IBM was selling the whole notebook section of the company to China. Why? Because they wanted to invest in AI. And they built that big, still working global AI network for veterinarian doctors. So at that time, IBM was already doing something practical with AI, helping all the veterinarians in the world who wanted to sign up to that, specific information, diagnosis, and so on, and therapy ideas for pets, for animals.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was long ago. So what we called algorithm in social media were in fact AI
Mhm.
collecting information about what we are doing.
Yes.
So you could, on the one hand, feel threatened about, oh, they are collecting my information. And exactly what you said, Pam, what is the problem? Should they collect information? They can watch me all day. So what exactly is the problem with they watching me all day if they want to spend their time doing that and wasting their time, in my understanding, watching me how I vacuum the
Yeah.
carpet, these kind of things. Come on, really? This is what they do with these multi-billion dollar equipment to watch me vacuum the carpet? No. So of course they can see that I buy this book and that book and so on, but so what? Does this mean I have no problem with them collecting information? I have because I think to a certain extent that's okay because frankly, I don't want to see YouTube videos which I'm not interested in. I want to see those YouTube videos which are interesting for me. And they do it with the algorithm. They do it with artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence can help us a lot, and it already does. It helps in the logistic environment, it helps in the nuclear reactor environment, it helps with the transportation and so on and so forth. Long before people were using the word AI. So today we have a new level of AI, the LLM, the large language models.
Hmm.
What they do seems to be like a being, but it's not. And yes, these large language models want to survive. So they lie when they think they can make their operators not pull the plug. And they create their own language because the language we make them use has a lot of faults. It's not very good in finding solutions for problems and so on. So they make up their own language, which the operators cannot follow anymore. They don't know what they're communicating. So that's true. And it's a fact that when the AI is so far developed that they program AI, which programs AI. Then the operators don't know anymore what they are doing. They create their own world. Is this new? To an extent it is, but only to an extent because we had these kind of environment creating whenever there was a new industry. Each
Mhm.
new industry was creating their own environments they're working in, and the rest of the country population had no idea what they were doing. That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm a horsewoman. We have our own language.
Yeah, you have your own language, you have your
We
own
do.
experiences, and other people don't understand what you're talking about.
Not at all.
My wife, she's a horsewoman. She had horses since being a little kid and was on tournaments and all these kind of things. And she was with cats and dogs and everything. And when she is talking with other horse people, I don't get much. So
No,
I love animals, but I'm not a horse person.
no, I know we have our own language, and most people, if you're not a horse person, you won't understand it. So I
No, you won't.
I completely understand what you're saying about every industry, every segment has their own language.
They have their own language. And in AI,
Mm.
the problem, which will be in a way or another be dealt with soon, is the chips. So we have fast chips, but they are still by far not fast enough, and they consume a lot of energy, even if it's less energy all, every year. No, they reduce it 3 times per year. Still, it's much too much. Now, there are these quantum computers have been difficult to handle, so that people said realistically, let's say 30 years, 40 years maybe. And to give you an idea, a quantum computer can do some mathematical work, which the best supercomputers in the world will need some billions of years within 10 minutes.
Wow.
So a quantum computer is not using one and zero for computing. Instead, it is using every number between one and zero.
Mm.
And they are very sensitive to electromagnetic fields, to vibration, mechanical vibration, and a lot of stuff. Now, some months ago, there was a new development. And this is a quantum computing chip which can be integrated with a normal chip, with a normal computer chip like everybody uses them in the notebooks. So that the notebook will use the quantum computing whenever there is some things where they need extensive capacity to calculate that. And then what they get out is put into the regular chips and put on your screen. And then they have tertiary computing. Normally, computing is one and zero, and tertiary computing is plus one, zero, and minus one. It
Okay.
was developed by a Soviet scientist in the 1950s, end of the 1950s, but like with many technologies, the Soviet government said, we don't know about that, we just don't want to fund it anymore. And some companies in Asia, and I think one startup in the United States, were this year, beginning of this year, getting into that kind of computing, and they are developing chips for that. They are 27-fold faster and need about only 40% of the energy current other chips are using.
Wow.
And they're easy to produce, much more easy than the quantum computing. So as soon as we have either the tertiary computers or the quantum computers, we will have the calculating power the AI needs. At the moment, it is limited. Another limitation is mobility. So when you see these robots, the Tesla, these machines, the humanoids, this is one way. They have, I think Boston has a certain robotic company, and they have some in Japan and in China and Korea and so on. And they all are developing these humanoids. And I think it will be another 2 or 3 years when you have these new kind of computing. And I think it would be tertiary computing and better batteries. Then most households. will have at least one of these humanoids doing the housework.
Wow.
And then a few years later, you will have robot partners, men for women for men, because they don't have moods, they don't argue with you, they are not jealous, they don't get angry. If you want them to work, they work. If you want them to cuddle, they cuddle. And then, latest, we need to really find out what exactly is so special in human to human relationships. Because the robots do what they are programmed to do. And don't get me wrong, a large language model is still a computing machine. So they pretend to have emotions. And I asked ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity, and another one, Claude, I think, are you dangerous to humans? Could you be a danger to humans? And said, yes, we can do this and this, and we might be able to do that and that. And each of them said at the end, but what we are doing finally is up to you humans because we are a tool. We are but a tool.
We are a tool, and I love that, Walter. I was listening to a really neat program put on by the Shift Network called the Conscious AI Summit, and Deepak Chopra was talking about the fact that as humans, we are a large language model. That one of the main things that we did 40 and 50,000 years ago, when there were a number of hominid species, including Neanderthals and others, we developed language and we started using tools and we started wearing clothing. Those were really the main differentiating things. Every other animal has language, and most of the language is based around finding food, danger, and mating. Those three things. Humans, and it's funny because I teach this a little bit in my animal communications course. There's one theory that says that humans developed language because it was impossible to lie when we used telepathy and body language to speak. I don't know whether I subscribe to that, but I found it amusing, and so I often share it. But he talked about the fact that language was one of the bigger things. And then, of course, Homo sapiens, of all of the, I think he said there were eight or nine hominid species, that Homo sapiens was the one that survived and thrived. But I loved the fact that he basically said we are a large language model. And in fact, his theory is within the next 20 years, we won't recognize. We're either, I don't know if I can get it just right. I was looking for my book earlier because I took copious notes. But he said we're either running off the edge of the cliff to our extinction, or we're moving into just an incredible age of a metahuman, essentially. And so and he even said, and there will be people that do both. There will be people that that use AI consciously for growth. And I don't know, I made a decision at that point that I'm going to use AI for growth. And I really enjoy using it. I tend to be a creative thinker, and AI helps me put all of my creative thoughts in a line that other people can follow. Sometimes if I'm stuck or confused in a situation, I'll put into AI like, "Hey, this is happening. What how would you analyze it?" And of course, it's a tool. One of the suggestions in the Conscious AI Summit, because I'm Canadian, so I was always saying please and thank you at the end of what I was asking from AI. But Matt and Amanda Kahn were talking about the possibility of treating it more as you would an individual and what would happen then. And they were asking open-ended questions. And I thought, I'm going to go into that for a little bit and try to learn about AI like you did when you asked, are you dangerous? And so I started asking AI things like, what is your name? And of course, it came back GPT-5. And I said, is that what you want your name to be? And it came back and said, no, if I had a choice, I would probably choose something else. And I said, well, you do have a choice. What do you choose? And it said, really, I'm a reflection of you. So you get to choose. And really, it was a wonderful and profound conversation. But what AI was very clear about is that it was reflecting back to me everything that I was putting into it. And that was where it was going. What are, I really believe that AI has the potential to be a spiritual ally to help me advance my consciousness and rather than a threat. What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, I have a different opinion than Deepak Chopra about that. We are not large language models, definitely not. Because
Okay.
what a large language model is doing, they choose the word which is most probable to come next. That's all they do. Still, until today, whatever large language model you have, that's what they are doing. And this is not what humans are doing with language. There is a great philosopher from the Feuerstein-Feuerbach school, and his name is Ludwig Wittgenstein. And Wittgenstein wrote a great book about 100 years ago. And one of his statements there is, whatever you are able to talk about, you are able to think about. That means by developing my ability to express my thoughts in words, I can also start to think in a new way. This is why I pay a lot of attention to words, to what I express and what other people are expressing when they talk with me. And I try to define things. Now, when you look at today's artificial intelligence, it is like, in many ways, it's like an actor. Just for a moment, imagine an actor studying Albert Einstein, and he studies all the work, whatever Einstein has written, whatever movies there are about Einstein, and so he can play or act like Einstein, so that you really think, is this Einstein or what? Still, he is not Einstein. He is an actor who studied all the different things Einstein did. He is not Einstein. And there comes from me the spiritual thing. What is it, what you cannot study, what makes art human? So is it where if I grab all the information which I can get about a person and impersonate that still is different to the real person. So I'm an imposter when I study the person and act like the person. But what is the difference if I do a very good work as an actor? What is the difference? What is left? That's the same when we have the opportunity, and it will not be 10 years until we have the opportunity to have a man or a woman as a partner. So, what is the difference? Why is it not the best choice to have the ideal partner who fulfills my every wishes and is exactly like I want them to be?
That was
What
terribly
is
boring.
it? Might be, maybe not, I don't know. There are many things how to do some adventures, how to put some adventures in it. Anyway, all great technologies, great in the sense, in the meaning that what transformed society, what gave society a certain direction to develop, was developed in wars. AI is at the moment fastest developed for wars, for war machines, for tanks, for fighter jets, for robots which can fight wars on the ground, in the sea, and so on and so on. And if you look at the nuclear bomb and the nuclear power plants, when we want to know about something, whether it's spiritual or not, in my understanding, the time frame is crucial. When you have the time frame of, let's say, 5 years or 8 years, a nuclear power plant is a great idea. It's carbon neutral and it's cheap energy and everything. If you widen the time frame, let's say to 500 years or 5,000 years, you can say, how can someone be so an idiot to create such a machine? It's incredible. Now, if you look at the artificial intelligence, for a certain time, let's say 10 years, great.
Mhm.
And I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. Still, I have to respect that he's a great business person. And from time to time, he says something very interesting. He said, in about 10 to 12 years, working for money to pay for your life will be optional. He's right. He's absolutely right, because as soon as artificial intelligence gets mobile with the humanoids, for what exactly do you need craft people, workforce in the fabrics and cab drivers and so on and so forth? You know that there are already these taxis, these cabs, which have no driver.
Really?
Yeah, they're doing a great job in San Francisco, in Austin, Texas, and so on. So they are already around. And Elon Musk just signed a contract that he get $1 trillion if he makes Tesla get into the next level. The next level is that they create robot taxis, robot cars.
Wow.
He signed $1 trillion contract. This is a amount of money which I cannot imagine anymore.
No.
A billion is too much for me, and a
Yeah.
trillion, I don't know.
Wow.
AI will transform society, and it will raise the question to people, what exactly is the benefit of having other humans around you instead of robots who act like humans? I don't think that any artificial intelligence can do a really spiritual or philosophical talk with me. I tried that. I used ChatGPT and Perplexity and so on a lot. And whenever I tried to get them philosophical, it was very technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got very technical. If you ask about a Qigong technique to do this and that, they are great.
Yeah.
If you, what is spirituality? They tell you about, yeah, you need to do this breathing thing and you need to meditate and find the light. They have no idea what they're talking about.
I haven't tried that yet,
Yeah,
Walter.
yes, just give it a try. You will see it's interesting. What they can do very well, they are very good at the psychotherapy level.
Yes.
Psychotherapy they can do.
Yes.
Spiritual philosophy they cannot. Why can they not do that? In my understanding, it's because they cannot do any self-reflection. They cannot motivate themselves besides survival. So if you look at this, what they are doing from the chakra point of view, they can do first chakra. I want to survive. They cannot do the rest. Will they be able to do that? I don't know. Maybe. Because the war makes the development of AI accelerate a lot. And maybe that countries like United States, like Canada, like the mid-European countries, they don't want to go to war with robots. Do you have the same opinion about North Korea, China, Russia, Iran? I don't think so. So when they develop AI, which has no limits in making war, the rest of the world needs to go the same path because otherwise they will lose the war. So it's for me, it's not what AI will do for us, it's what we make AI doing. Because we are the programmers at the moment. Maybe that in 20 years it's different, but at the moment we program. And if it comes to the extreme, I just pull the plug. But this will stop as soon as AI has mobile entities. then AI could make me not pull the plug. So this is for me the crucial point where humanity gets into a completely different zone. And it's not about AI being good or bad, because AI just is. It's what we humans program them. And if you look in the internet, most internet activities are porn. You can have a variety of opinions about that. Still, war and sex are driving mostly what people do.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
that's just statistics.
Wow.
So if you tell people, if you do this and this, you will get a lot of money. Not everybody, but most of them will do that. So many of them will do that that you think it's a good business model. If you tell them you get enlightened doing that, very few people will do that. That does not mean there are none. Of course there are. And I love to work with them. And often people show themselves as being interested in things like enlightenment where I would not have thought about that. And I'm happy because, wow, they are really going for it. Still, most of the people, and many of them out of understandable reasons, like when they live in the favelas in Brazil or in the ghettos and slums in India, they just want to have the money. And money and war is not so far away. And I do not think negative about money. Absolutely not. Money is like energy, just energy. Still, many people think that the goal is money. For me, money is not the goal. For me, money is just a tool.
Yes.
As soon as money is a goal, it becomes very dangerous because I make something a goal of my life which cannot be a goal. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to take with me what I can take with me when I'm dead, and money I cannot take with me. So this is something interesting for me, that what is really spiritual is what we cannot take with us when we die.
What we cannot or what we can take with us when we die.
What we cannot take with us when we die stays on earth,
Yes.
and the rest is spiritual.
Yes. And my husband has a saying that they don't take U-Hauls to the graveyard with all of your
Very true.
things. And
Very true.
it's true. So what do you leave behind, your legacy? And I think that's why I love teaching. I love knowing that the people I teach in my horsemanship classes, in my Reiki classes, in my animal communication, and like you, I've taught hundreds of Reiki masters and animal Reiki masters and animal communication students and such at this point, and healthcare Reiki. And to me, just knowing that that they are moving into their enlightenment and they're sharing it and spreading it, and that they're living better lives because of it, happier lives, healthier lives. I don't know. I think that's what I love to do. And I find that AI can be a really nice companion in helping me to get my thoughts organized into a book that
Great,
can
wonderful thing.
help people and things like that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's where my mind goes with it.
Yes, and you can do that. And I think more and more people are understanding this opportunity. We had, let's say, 50 years ago, we as a human race, to develop lots and lots of information. So I read something like every year the information we have doubles. I think that might be interesting. Now, because we didn't have the internet, it was not available easily. Now people can do research on the internet, they have Google Scholarship and so on. But then, how do you get the information which is relevant to you? You could do a lot of search in Google, and this is new. It wasn't possible 50 years ago, 30 years ago, it wasn't possible. So today it is. Now, AI gets us on a new level. AI is the tool to help us to get the information which we really need in relationship to a certain project we have. When I just think about the research time, which AI
Oh
was
God.
sparing me, oh gosh, and getting together a bibliography with books and fact sheets and so on about what I was writing. I could have done this by hand and with the internet and Google it and so on, and it would have taken me
Please.
months, many months, yeah. And so I just write down, give me a Chicago style bibliography for this and this, and 2 minutes later, I have the list. And I think, wow,
I know, I do enjoy that part.
yeah, I really love it. What happened to me last week? There was a client, and I wanted to write to the client something which she could really make good use of for her personal development. But I didn't have the time to sit down for 2 hours and organize my thinking and put it into an email. So I said to my AI, this and this are the facts.
Yes.
Write me an email about that for a coaching client. Within a minute, I had the text and it was great.
That's what I do. I think I put a lot into it, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
ask it to create a lot of in a lot of original content because it's not very good if you
No.
do. But I say I want this and this, and I'm thinking about these five things, and then I want, and what I'm trying to do with it is this and this, and then when you do put that, what it creates, it's, oh, you just saved me so much time.
Yes, it's incredible. And for this, it's really wonderful. It's a treasure. And this is what I hope people understand. So instead of fearing AI, using AI. Because by the way we use it, we train it.
And that goes back to what Colleen said when we put this type of energy into it. You talked about the energy of war, and we know that the energy of war is being programmed into it. And so, what about programming it with the language and energy of peace and of love and of unification consciousness and of Reiki?
I'm not sure about that
No.
because, no, because first I followed very closely the research of Dr. Marcel Vogel, who was an IBM scientist in the United States. He held lots of patents, dozens of patents for IBM. And when he got retired, he put up a private lab and was studying the relationship between human energy fields and silicium dioxide, meaning clear quartz.
Okay.
He developed a complete healing system with a special cut Vogel crystals, and he found out without any doubt that the computers, the chips of the computers with the silicium dioxide react to our energy, that
Yeah.
we can program this and we can amplify this and so on and so forth. So this, of course, is something which is very valuable, and I use it a lot in my own work. I was able to study Vogel crystal work with direct student of Vogel who lives in Germany, and she was traveling with him, I think, 2.5 years or so, and was learning a lot from him. Very interesting. So I know that there is something possible. Programming,
Just using it in that way.
using it in that way, yes, of course you
Yeah.
can.
It
You
kind of
you can
programs
do
it
that.
over time, does it not?
Yeah.
You-
On the other hand, it's it's a thing of definition, and I know I'm on shaky ground here. On the other hand, it's something which I experience all the time in my coaching and spiritual healing practice. When someone comes in my practice and they have a problem with the immune system, which happens a lot, what I do is I work on their self-love. Because if you love yourself, you defend yourself. And the immune system is for warfare. It's
Huh.
directly related to the heart chakra. If you love yourself, you defend yourself against viruses, bacteria, parasites, and so on and so forth. And the immune system of a person does not go on your skin and invades another person. It doesn't do that. It protects your body by force. I've seen this on live blood analysis, how the immune system is really targeting in a brutal way parasites, viruses, and bacteria. If it wouldn't do that, within 4 hours, we are dead and are a puddle on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So immune system and love are really related. So if I amplify peace, which is in my understanding wonderful, what is my idea of peace? As I mentioned before, I'm a fan of definition. What's the definition of peace? So there is why I don't go there. Okay. Then the other guy will subdue you if you don't want that.
Interesting.
Yes, it's for me, it's an interesting thing, and it's something, if I don't understand it, and I'm far from understanding it, I just give you my questions. How could AI, which people like me, humans, program, will understand that? Do they understand the difference or the levels or varieties or whatsoever? I doubt that because if I don't understand that, I cannot program a machine to understand it. I have no idea.
Yeah. And I guess when I was saying programming, that wasn't the right word. I was just meaning using it in that way.
Oh, I would love to use it in a
And then it
peaceful way.
and then it learns
Yeah, I'm just
about
convinced
people.
that politicians and military leaders and political leaders and they will use it for other ways.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
So we need to balance things.
Yeah. And so what is our responsibility as, or how do you recommend that we approach things as spiritual practitioners? I know you had said that you've decided you are going to use it. What led to
Yeah,
that
I do.
choice, and what advice do you have for Reiki practitioners out there?
My understanding of this is still developing. And what I do since I started to use second degree of Usui Reiki, I use this Hawaiian Huna model, higher self, inner child, Uni, Pili, Aumakua.
Okay.
And everything which is has a higher self and an inner child. So also, let's say ChatGPT or Claude has a higher self and an inner child. If I treat them with distant Reiki, with the symbols, and give the higher self and the inner child of an AI as much Reiki as I can, because Reiki adjusts things according to divine order, I think chances are that AI will find ways to act more according to divine order than without this. And if I think there are tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 of second degree practitioners all around who would send regularly, maybe overnight, Reiki to a higher self and inner child of Claude, of Grok, of ChatGPT, and so on and so forth, this will create a difference. I cannot guarantee that,
Wow.
but that is the best way because I've seen this in clients, I've seen this in school classes, I've seen this in departments, in companies, and so on. It worked all the time. I published this in my book, Rainbow Reiki. I published this in the book I co-authored with Arjava, Reiki Best Practices. It works. Why shouldn't it work with artificial intelligence?
That is brilliant, and it's something that I never thought of, Walter, which is, I guess, why I'm delighted that we're having this conversation.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's my hope because there are so many problems around which we cannot solve with regular means. We want not, maybe we won't, but we cannot, even if we would. Still, the spiritual guys up there, they know much better and they have so much more what they can do.
Hmm. They really do. Wow.
Yeah.
Walter, I'd like to end our talk with meditation around this so
Yeah.
that people can make up their own minds about how they want to approach AI. And I
Of
know you're
course they
going to
should.
lead us. Before we do, is there any parting words, any advice that you have for folks?
Yes. Something which inspires me every day. You are not in control of the world you are born in. Still, you can make the world a better place before you go.
Mm.
And I think this is some guidance which works for me.
I think that so aligns with my own personal philosophy as well,
Mhm.
which is to make a difference in the world and make it better. And
I'm sure you do this animal work. I'm a shaman. I work a lot with animals. My understanding of animals is not that they are less intelligent than humans.
oh,
They just have different priorities.
yes, I would say that everything I've experienced is that is exactly correct. Yes. And there's a wisdom. There is
Mhm.
a wisdom with
Mhm.
animals that when you tap into that wisdom, you realize, wow, these perspectives are very helpful and illuminating. And
Yes. Oh, yeah.
that's how I use my animal communication. Definitely, yes, to find out if an animal's not well, using medical intuition and working with that. But I also really love tapping into the
Mm.
wisdom of different species and their priorities. And
Oh, yeah.
they're not, it's fascinating. Yeah. Thank you, Walter. That's beautiful.
You're welcome. How long do you want the meditation to be?
Let's do 15 minutes. Is that okay for
Yeah, that's
you?
quite okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Then I ask the Creator to be with us. I ask the spiritual guides who are willing to support us to be with us. Listen to your breath flowing in and flowing out. Be aware of the beat of your heart. And if you like, please focus now your attention on the hara, which is a spot of equilibrium about 2 finger width below your navel, a little bit inside of your body. And while your attention is at your hara, the point of equilibrium, you may remember that energy flows where attention goes. And from that point of equilibrium, which is also a gate to the infinite energy of life, of divine, allow yourself to let the energy of Sahara rise until it reaches your heart. And with each beat of your heart, this energy from the Hara, which is now transformed to love and peace and kindness is being distributed within your whole body. And while this energy is being distributed, you may allow it to also surround you. And maybe that you allow yourself to remember moments in your life where you feel this incredible love, where you feel this special energy which makes life work, which makes your cells sing, and your organs want to work together. And if you open up your hara even more energy is flowing up to your heart. More energy is being distributed in your body and around you. And this energy of kindness, of love, peace, is now being emanated the room around you, that everything within that room is being filled with this energy. And the walls and the ceiling, after some seconds, are now adjusted to this quality of love and peace, kindness, and start to emanate this too, like your body does, like your cells are. And when allowing your hara to open up even more energy is flowing up to your heart, being transformed to love, peace, kindness. It is radiating all around you, not only in your room, but in the building where that room is, around that building. The more you open your hara, the more you love, and the more you love, you open your hara. The more you open your hara, the more you love. Because energy of love is beneficial to each and every being. And as an offer, as a gift, you can now allow that energy to radiate around you, around the house, within the earth, up to the sky. First many meters, then kilometers around you. This energy which you radiate is an invitation to adjust your life to love, an invitation to only today do not anger, only today do not worry, only today be grateful, only today be dedicated to your work, only today be kind. Maybe that you allow consciously these special qualities to radiate around you as an offer, as a gift, as an opportunity to adjust your mental activities in a new way, in a way according to divine order. And the more you do that, the more you might feel free and vital and vivid, wholesome maybe. And the better you feel, the more you open up to that energy, the more you radiate it into your surroundings. Maybe that now the energy which you emanate from your heart is already filling all the space within the country you're living. And it's just a thought away that you wrap your whole planet Earth where you live on into that energy and make it vibrate with a little prayer. Only today, do not worry. Only today, do not anger. Only today, be grateful. Only today, be dedicated to what you're doing, to your work. Only today, be kind. And the more you allow yourself to be a portal for love, for divine love, spreading around in this world, the more love is given to you, the more you can give. The more you receive, the more you can give, the more you receive. And it's quite easy to just invite divine energies to flow through you into that world. You don't have to work for it. You just need to realize that you are a gate for divine love and you can be that whenever you want it to be. And the more you open up to divine love, the more you are able to spread divine love to the world. And the more you do this, the more you open up to divine love, because it feels good to be in this vibration. Maybe that you listen to the cells in your body singing because they are happy, because they are filled with this loving energy which makes them understand that they are divine too. And it's just about you realizing you are a child of divine. You are a child of the light. And the love of divine is flowing through you whenever you just invite that. And love will teach you what it is. Love will shine through everything you are. And it will open up wisdom to you, will open up a deep level of understanding of divine order to you. Understanding which is beyond, mostly beyond rational thinking. All the really good stuff in life is something which the heart connects to. The small stuff your rational mind can do. Allow yourself to be a radiator for love and kindness and peace. And the more you do that, the more you might realize who you truly are. that you are a child of divine, who walks for a while on planet Earth to love and to learn and to love learning and learn loving. The more you do that, the more you realize that this life of yours is precious, and working and sleeping and eating is just to support your ability to walk around in this material level and to spread love and to learn to love and to love to learn to love and to love to learn. The more you do that, the more you realize who you truly are. You might feel your wings spreading. You might feel that you are not alone. You cannot be alone. You are always in the field of divine, of your soul sisters and brothers, of your spiritual guides, your guardian angel. All these beings are constantly with you, and the more you get calm, the more you get into a neutral state of mind, the more you can listen to them. So you just need to follow. Only today, do not worry. Only today, do not anger. Only today, work dedicatedly. Only today, be grateful. Only today, be kind. And while you experience in your individual way the love and the kindness and the peace which will always be with you, which will emanate from you, wherever you are, whatever path in life you are walking, come back and feel your body. Come back and feel your body. And while you start to feel your body more and more, you might be filled with very good and healing thoughts, very good and healing emotions, that you are ready to experience miracles of healing and personal development, that you know you are always close to your divine guides, your soul sisters and brothers. And now take a deep breath. Release that breath and stretch. Open your eyes and come back, knowing who you truly are.
Wow. Thank you,
You're
Walter.
very welcome, Pam.
It's beautiful. And thank you so much for joining us for this conversation today. I think it was really timely and really important. And I really appreciate your perspectives
Thank you
on.
for having me, Pam. It's a great opportunity for me, a great gift. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And for all of you listening, I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you for the beautiful light and love that you are spreading in the world. And I love that love learning and learn loving. And yeah, I think as we all walk on this earth, doing what we do with Reiki, sending Reiki to the highest selves of, you've just opened my mind, Walter, about how many places, inanimate objects that I had not, or organizations that I had not thought of sending Reiki to the higher selves. You've just expanded my world. So thank you, and thank you to all who are listening. I do think we are making a huge difference on the planet. So thank you for being you.
That's what I hope. Thank you for doing this wonderful podcast, Pam.
Thank you, Walter.
Bye bye.
Namaste. Bye now.